Sober Girls Yoga by the Mindful Life Practice. Let's come into a comfortable shape, and if you have a cushion, you can sit up on the cushion. You can have your blocks nearby. Rest your palms face up. Lengthen up through the spine, stack each and every vertebrae one at a time. Soften the shoulders down the back. Take deep breaths in and out. Let's take about 5 deep breaths, going all the way into the belly and the lungs and filling the chest. And then exhale to empty. Just 4 more like this, breathing in. Breathing out. 3 more. 2 more. And then after a last one, return the breath to normal. So our practice this morning is themed around a deep hip release, because the hips is where we store our tension. It's where we store our trauma. It's where we store our stories. The Buddha has a saying. He says, you only lose what you cling to. We tightly cling to things inside of our body, and when we move through this embodied practice of yoga, it's when we release them. So let's just set this intention to do this deep hip release and release whatever we are clinging to. Now let's take our palms together at our heart center, and what you're going to do is just interlace the palms, release your index finger and thumb, and then see if you can pivot your palms so that they're facing down towards the base of the body, the base of the pelvis. Amazing. So this is like Kali Mudra, but there's an intention of releasing, transforming, letting go. My question for you is, what are you letting go of this morning? What are you releasing through this practice? Now let's release our grip and then take a big inhale, lift the arms up towards the sky. We're going to move a lot through the body. Not a lot, just a little. Land the right palm, reach the left arm over to the right. And then we're just going to move through center, land the left palm, reach the right arm up. And then do this pivot a few times. Amazing. Just 3 more. Good. 2 more. And then on a last one, come all the way up to one side. And then we'll lift the arms up and then just move through some twists. So landing the left palm, right fingertips behind you. And then lift the arms up. And then pivot the opposite way. And then we'll just do this a few times. Good, just 3 more. 2 more. And then on a last one, come all the way back through center. Take the palms into the heart center. And now let's open the arms into cactus arms. Take the right arm underneath the left, and you can high five the hands or grip opposite shoulders. And then just curve a little bit through the spine. Awesome. So you can either be like this with the hands or even hands gripping opposite shoulders. So I'm currently doing my 300-hour advanced yoga teacher training. I'm currently leading a group through this, and this course has a focus on mental health. And one of the things we're working on is really diving into and studying the Yoga Sutras. Let's take one more. And then just unwind the arms. And then take it the opposite way. Amazing. You can curve through the spine a few times. And so one of the things that Patanjali speaks about is these states of samadhi. And states of samadhi are like basically states of enlightenment. And the whole goal of our yoga practice is to hit this higher level of consciousness that we've heard about in so many spiritual realms, like nirvana, samadhi, enlightenment. These are all different names for the same thing. Let's release our hands. Unwind the arms. Just do a few shoulder rolls. And then we'll come into our first pose, and I want to invite you to grab hold of your yoga block if you want. So I'm going to show you a couple of different variations. So the pose we're going to be taking is Baddha Konasana, which is butterfly pose. So you can just put your feet together and then just take an inhale and lengthen the heart forward. Or if you want to deepen this shape a little bit, I'm going to take my block. You can also use a book and just place it between the soles of the feet to widen the distance a little bit between the feet. And then you can inhale and lengthen the heart and then start to come forward. So try either, see what works. And then just move with the breath. So on the inhale, you can lengthen and lead with the heart. And then on the exhale, hinge the body forward. So anyway, yesterday I was reading about, it was either Sutra 1.48 or 1.49. I can't remember which one it was, but Patanjali was basically talking about something that all of us are going to face with our yoga practice, which is that all of us are going to, when we start to get clear and start to get still and start to get silent, we're all going to be faced with our stories, with our trauma, with our history. Anything that we've previously experienced is going to show up. And the trick is having the courage to face it without engaging with it. So for example, there is a goddess, and I can't remember her name. She's one of the goddesses of one of the forms of Sarasvati, and she just sits above the lake of the mind, right? She sees everything in the lake, but she doesn't get in it. She just sees it. She views it. And it's like treating our mind as the sky that holds the weather. Right? Every emotion, every thought, every concern is just going to move through you like a storm, like a cloud. Even the happy days will be like sunshine. And through it all, your mind is just the sky that holds the weather. Let's take a couple more breaths exactly where we are. And then just slowly start to roll all the way up. And if you have a block or a book, we're just going to slide it to the side. And then draw the knees into the chest. Give the body a sweet little hug. Take a few deep breaths. And now the next posture that we're going to make our way into is a variation of dragon pose. And we're going to try 2 different variations of this. So the first thing you're going to do is come onto your left knee and step the right foot forward. And if you have any sensitivity with your back knee, you could put a cushion or a block underneath it. And if you do want to deepen this stretch a little bit, you might take your block and place the block underneath the right foot and then step the right foot up and then come to arrive on the block just like this. So this is going to be a pretty deep hip stretch. So the hip is a tightly bound muscle in our body, and there's several layers of it. And the reason why it's tightly bound serves us a purpose, because it's a super mobile joint and it moves in several directions, but it plays a really important role in our body, which is the movement of our legs, walking. And so it's tightly bound for a reason. And the femur bone hits into a socket that's called the acetabulum. And this literally means little cup of vinegar. And the thing about these different parts of our body is that they serve a very important function. But if we're not regularly releasing what is stored there, then it can start to work against us instead of with us. Right? The things that we cling to, rigid ideas, relationships, jobs, belief, all of these things that we cling to can get stuck in our brain and shape us and affect the way we move through the world. Let's take one more breath. Excellent. And then just release the hands. And if you're on a block, you can just step the foot to the side. Off the block, you can slide the block to the side. And now we're going to do one more thing. We're going to take the right foot and walk it a little bit to the right. And now if you want to, you might take your block. If you want to deepen this experience, you might tuck your toes, lift your shin up off the mat, and then place your shin back down on the block. Maybe. It's just an option. Basically, we're coming into this lizard pose. And we're stretching a little bit into the outer hip. If you're like, this is not restorative yoga, I promise it's going to feel better at the end. You're going to feel so, well, I'm not going to tell you how to feel because everyone feels differently. But when I do these hip openers, I feel so much release. So the thing about life is that what we put out into the world, the universe picks up on, right? And it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. If we put out into the world that we're stressed, then the world is going to give us more stress. If we put out into the world that everything goes wrong for us, then everything is going to go wrong for us. I even think that parts of my mood disorder in some ways were a self-fulfilling prophecy. Right? Like, it's certainly true that I was born with a genetic predisposition that made me more likely to have bipolar disorder. But I think as soon as I decided I was bipolar, I decided that I was going to have these manic and depressive episodes. And I amplified that experience of these moods because I created this self-fulfilling prophecy that this is what I am. Right? The universe picks up on what we're putting out. Let's take a few more breaths where we are. And then just step your right foot back to meet your left. So you're going to come all the way up, off. Take the block to the side. What I'm going to do is tuck my toes under and just sit my hips back on my heels for one moment, just to feel a little stretch through the back of the soles of the feet. And then lift all the way up and then just kind of pedal the feet out. Amazing. And then we'll try the opposite side. So you can leave your right knee where it is, step the left foot forward. Option to keep your foot where it is, or you might step up onto the block. And then maybe you interlace the palms on the thigh. And just settle the gaze. So there is this concept in yoga that we're supposed to be coming here to silence our mind, to still our mind, to not think. And I used to get into this war with my mind, this war where I thought that it was supposed to be in the present moment. And I would get so mad at myself if I couldn't remain in the present moment. And I've recently let that whole thing go. Because I realized that often my yoga practices are where I have the biggest insights, the biggest downloads, the biggest epiphanies about who I am, about what matters, about what I'm putting into the world. And so I want to encourage you not to force yourself to stop thinking, but just invite yourself into the possibility of letting this experience take you wherever you need to be. And maybe your mind is working through your current problem, and you're going to come out of this practice with a new understanding of what step is next. Just let yourself be present with whatever you're feeling for a couple more breaths. Amazing. And then we're going to step the left foot off the block. And then just take the block if you want to. So you're going to take both hands to the inside of the left foot, walk your foot a bit wide. And then if you want to, you might tuck your foot under, place your ankle or place your shin on the block, and just find your variation here. Let's take about 5 more breaths. And then lift all the way up. If you're on a block, just slide that block to the side. And then bring the knees wide. You can allow the toes to touch. Sit the hips back on the heels. Rest the forehead. Just pause for a moment in child's pose. Letting go of movement, receiving stillness. Letting go of effort, receiving ease. Just allow the body to find the middle and the mind to find the moment. The body to step into the middle, the mind to step into the moment. Now we're going to take one last pose before we come into our savasana. And this is going to be a dangling pose. So you're going to come all the way up to roll up to seated. And I'm going to give you 2 different options for this. So the first option, you're just going to come onto your hands and your feet and then just let your body roll forward. And if you want to deepen this experience, I'm going to invite you to move towards a wall if you happen to have a wall. And how I like to do this is just walk my back towards the wall. So I stretch out through the back of the neck. Stretch out through the back body. We won't be here for super long, just maybe about 10 breaths. And then after the last breath, you can just gently release, step away from the wall. Slowly just roll your body all the way up. Let the head balance on both shoulders. Just pause for a moment. Let your whole body arrive in stillness. And then let's just slowly make our way all the way onto the mat. So this class is 45 minutes, by the way. I don't know if I told you guys that at the beginning, but we have about 10 minutes left. So we're just gonna stretch out. So come all the way, open the arms into cactus, drop the knees to the right, gaze over the left shoulder. Can't remember why I made this a 45-minute class. There was a reason, but normally they're 60 minutes with the mindful life practice, but sometimes they're shorter, 30 minutes, 45. The whole Sober Girls Yoga platform so far is 30-minute classes, which is cool because they're on demand and you can do them, fit them into your life, the short 30 minutes. And Mickey, who's here filming today, has helped make all of the videos, which is really cool. So open our right arm and then draw the knees all the way up. And then just drop the knees in the other directions. Drop them over to the left, gaze over the right shoulder. And let's open our left arm. Draw the knees all the way back through center. Give the body one sweet little hug. And then just slowly stretch out the left leg and then the right. Just coming into your final resting pose. I want you to imagine that you are sitting beside a lake, a body of water. You're just sitting above that body of water and you can see everything below you. You see the fish, you see the seaweed, you see the different animals, the mud, the bubbles, everything that's happening within this lake. But you're not getting in this lake, you're not having this lake transform you. You're just seeing every single element of it. And this is like the clarity you have now. You've moved through and released so much, and you've had the courage to show up and see it all face to face, eye to eye. And now you step back and let go. Just remain here knowing that I will bring you back in a moment when the time is up. I wanna be free, so free, like a feather blowing through the breeze, like a bird in a tree, like a dolphin in the sea. I wanna fly high, so high, like an eagle in the sky. And when my time has come, I will let it all go with a sigh. Pachamama, coming home to the place where I belong. Pachamama, coming home to the place where I belong. Pachamama, coming home to the place where I belong. Pachamama, coming home to the place where I belong. Just give your fingers and toes a little wake up wiggle. Nice long stretch, fingers all the way through toes, stretch through the body. Take the knees into the chest, give the body a sweet little hug. Amazing. And then just slowly lift your way up to your seated shape. And maybe when you come to your seated shape, I just feel like a bit of a neck stretch. Because we didn't do a lot of that today. This is like tension hotspot area number 2. And then take the palms into the heart center. Release index finger and thumb. Pivot the fingertips and thumb to point towards the base of the pelvis. The Buddha said that we only lose what we cling to. What are you clinging to that you are releasing, letting go of? And then let's just gather our palms at heart center in Anjali Mudra, which is a gesture of spiritual integration, connection to the universe beyond. And we'll close with our intention, the ancient intention, the original intention, passed from heart to heart through thousands of years. And it's that our practice remains steady and our efforts remain continuous, and that our yoga helps and heals and serves and benefits all beings everywhere. May all beings be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be free. May the thoughts and the actions of each of our lives contribute towards this. And let's just finish together with an Om sound, which is the sound of everything and the sound of nothing. So take a big breath in, a big breath out, a big breath in. Thank you so much, yogis. Thank you for being here, holding space for each other, sharing space. I'm so grateful for your presence. It truly means a lot. When starting up a new class, it can be hard to get momentum. So I really appreciate your presence, your momentum, your energy here. And I will see you all next week. The light in me, it sees and it honors the light in you. Thank you. Thank you.